I'd like to call the committee back to order. Senator Nelson, thank you for the opportunity to have some conversation on our side. I'm hoping that we can find some good, solid places of agreement here tonight. We now have, I believe in front of everyone, check me if I'm incorrect, a document entitled Items Proposed by House for Adoption by E12 Conference Committee, May 13th, 2019, 8:40 p.m. at the top. We organized it, hopefully this makes it easier for everyone to follow along the lines of your earlier document. So I'd just like to start, if I could, I'd move adoption of Senate section, in Article 3, Senate Section 4, and House Section 8 in combination. Oh, and that's in Article 2, excuse me. House Section 8 is in Article 2. So let me do that one more time. I'd move adoption of Senate Article 3, Section 4, and House Article 2, Section 8.
And Mr. Chair,
Senator Nelson.
if you could have the House describe House Section 8 in Article 2.
Certainly. Ms. Para, if you'd help us out, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Article 2, Section 8 is on page R8, and it requires school districts to to screen students not reading at grade level at the end of kindergarten, first grade, second grade, to screen those students for characteristics of dyslexia, and then to screen students in grade 3 or higher who demonstrate a reading difficulty unless a different reason for that difficulty has been identified.
Thank you, Ms. Para. So picking up, Senator Nelson, on your language about wanting to be focused on students. The intense focus here is catching students early, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, to see if to screen at that stage so that we can catch students as early as possible if there are issues, if there's a matter of dyslexia or perhaps other things that interfere with their reading. Catch them early so that we can get that implemented now and start focusing on students, while the Senate Section 4 focuses on teacher training. And so we saw this as a good pair. Let's get focused on the kids right out the door. Let's make sure that future teachers are prepared better on dyslexia going forward. So I've moved that for consideration of the committee. Senator Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So what we'll be able to do is, much as we did with the proposal that we gave you, I'd like to hear what the House is proposing and the rationale behind that. And then we will we would need to talk to Senate members about these particular hearings.
So to facilitate that, I'll withdraw the motion, and we'll move on to then to the second bullet under Article 3, which is proposes, I believe that's your language that we're accepting. I don't know how much you have to recess to consider that one, but I'll leave that up to you.
We'll see how it pairs up with what you're suggesting.
All right.
So go ahead.
And then, because apparently the Senate was on a roll, the third bullet we also would accept, which is your proposal adopting House sections in Article 3 of 45 to 49, but as amended by your A43 amendment.
Wonderful. All right. And the next one?
Okay. Moving on to Article 4, the first bullet, we would like to set that one aside. There's a fiscal note associated with that, and so we'd like to set that aside for this evening.
For which one?
Senator Nelson, for Article 4, Senate Section 1. So given that there's a fiscal note, we'd like to set that aside.
And did you talk about this?
It was so brief because we have to take it.
I have 44 here and 43, okay. I'm going to, Mr. Chair,
Senator
I'm
Nelson.
going to turn over to our fiscal folks regarding a potential fiscal note, which we don't believe there is one. If you want to repeat what segment, what article you were talking about there? What
Sure.
provision?
So I'm on Article 4, page R1 of the A4, Senate Section 1. Our understanding is that there's a fiscal note associated with that language, with the House language. Oh. Sorry. That explains the confused looks off to my right.
Yeah.
But we'd like to set that aside for later consideration then. My apologies. This is the problem with, this does bring up the cursive mandate in your bill, because it is the quality of my handwriting that's fundamentally at the bottom of that. And then, so the second bullet, R16 of Article 4, House Section 18. We would propose that.
Let's get to that page.
R16 of Article 4. Only Article 2 wasn't so long. This is, deals with individualized education programs.
Okay.
So we'd propose that. Moving on to Article 6. Again, we would accept that. Your proposal?
That's on the benchmarking,
Yes, I believe it
energy
is.
benchmarking. Yes.
R3A6. And then moving on to Article 7. We are accepting, no, we're not? Okay. Yes, yes, yes. So on this, let me get to that page, because this, Representative Juergens put a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of effort into, and passion into this issue around lunch shaming. And this is a real priority of his, and we want to respect that. It was part of our building a bipartisan bill. This is also language that the school boards negotiated last year and was in the bill that passed off the House and Senate floors last year.
Okay. So,
Senator Nelson, questions?
members, any questions on any of these items before us? We will not adopt them until after we've had an option, a recess to speak to them, but I do want to just see if any members have any concerns or comments about any of the proposals that the House has brought forth tonight. That would be the 8:40 PM proposal. Okay. Let's take a short, hopefully recess.
Can you define
Half hour?
short?
Well, I would like to just go right upstairs to 200 perhaps and see if we can go through this.
Okay.
And I would hope 30 minutes would be sufficient. Do you think I'm too optimistic there?
15.
All right.
I
Okay.
think Senator Weber would like 15,
Yes, yes, yes. Some of us-
from the looks of it.
Yeah, okay. So if you can recess until about 9:30, we would hope the Senate can be right back down here.
All right, we are
Thank
in
you.
recess and call of the chair approximately 9:30. Thank you very much.